I've been highly interested in emotions the last several years. I've had a hard time really pinpointing my own emotions for pretty much all of my life. And I think that's kind of maybe a man thing or something, but it's like I felt like I couldn't really be in touch with my emotions because I didn't have time for them, or that the emotions actually represented weakness and I would disregard them. And I sort of got really good at that, and it actually worked for me for many years. In fact, it works for a lot of people to stuff the emotions, I think, in the onset. But I think to really perform at your very, very best level, the emotional part of us as humans, we have to address. And I feel like I really failed at that for a long, long time. I went to a conference where a guy named Travis Bradberry spoke, and he wrote a book called Emotional Intelligence. And in that book, he points out the value of our emotions and how important they are as it relates to performance. And he separates intelligences in this way. He says that IQ, which is your intelligence quotient, which I've never been tested, thank God, because I've kind of avoided that test. I sort of want to maybe skip it because I'm not so sure that the outcome would be beneficial to me. So at my age, I think I'm just going to skip that one. But the other one was emotional quotient, or the EQ. And what he pointed out was that IQ is actually fixed. In other words, there's nothing that you can do about your intelligence. But EQ, on the other hand, is not fixed. It is something that can be improved. It can be improved with effort. So the question is, how the heck can you improve your emotional quotient? Bradberry says that out of 1 million people surveyed, that only 36% really know about emotions as they occur. And so I think one of the first steps for me has been to notice the emotions as they occur. He says that we have, as humans, about 500 emotions per day, which really overwhelms me because I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. I feel like I have maybe 20. Maybe my wife has 500, but not me. I have 20. So that was really overwhelming to me, and I thought, oh my gosh, I really need to pay closer attention to these things, because if they're really happening and I'm not noticing them, I think there might be a challenge there. And one of the things that I've learned in my journey in the last few years of really paying attention to the emotions is the value that it brings to others. Because if I'm able to recognize the emotions in my own self as they occur, and recognize my emotional events that I have every day, that enables me to empathize with others as they're feeling. Because typically when people were real emotional, it would overwhelm me. I would get flooded and be like, you're just weak, just get up off the ground and stop being sad, was kind of my response to it. But as I've gotten in touch with my own sadness or my own sad moments, when somebody else is sad, I suddenly have more space for them. It's just an interesting transition as I've been more curious about my own personal emotions, because I've basically been a black belt at avoiding them or ignoring them or stuffing them. I think a lot of people do that, and I think it really kind of works for a while. But what I've found is when I start to be curious and notice these emotions, my bandwidth has really increased. It's gotten a lot better. I've been able to be more connected to the people around me. And it's also lightened my load some. It was as if I was carrying this backpack full of bricks. And every time I would have this emotional event, I would just put the brick in the backpack and keep trucking, right? I just keep on moving down the road. And I think that's really started to weight me down. Over time, the backpack got so heavy, I was rucking around with too many bricks. And so I started trying to understand how to unload these bricks. And I think the first step that I found really worked for me was really naming the emotions. Because if you were to ask me, hey, how are you feeling? Several years ago, I'd have gone, I feel fine. I feel good. I've felt better before, but I feel okay. I'm good. And what I've learned is that if I could get a vocabulary, an emotional vocabulary, then I could take the brick out of my backpack and name it. And the way I've learned to do this recently is I use something called a feeling wheel. Because I'm so full of logic and so full of the stuffing and hiding and kind of getting over it type modus operandi, my vocabulary has disappeared, or it's been non-existent. So the feeling wheel has been great for me, because what it's done is it's helped me identify these, so that when I pull these bricks out of my backpack, I'm able to name what this is. It's sadness, or it's overwhelm, or it's frustration, or maybe it's happiness. It could be a wide variety of things, right? But the negative ones are the ones that are heavy on my back. And so as I pull them out, then what do you do with them, right? So what? You know you're sad, then what do you do with it? Well, when you know that you're sad, and you can call that brick sadness, then you can articulate it to somebody else. When somebody asks you, hey, how are you feeling? I'm feeling kind of sad. Boom. You've just lightened your load a little bit. By sharing that sadness with a friend or somebody that cares for you, it's revolutionized my life. It truly has revolutionized my life. It has lightened my load. My backpack's lighter. It's got bricks in it still. It's not like I've emptied it all out. I mean, that takes forever. I don't think you ever do. But it's lighter. So what has that done for me? Well, it's increased my creativity. It's increased my ability to think clearly. It's increased my ability to relate with my family, with my wife, with my kids. It's increased my ability to lead at work. It's increased my overall performance. I'm just better because I can name my emotions. And I'm getting better. I'm practicing it. And so I'm trying to create these new neuro pathways, right? Through repetition and through practice and through naming my emotions. Suddenly I'm starting to feel lighter on my feet, and then I'm not dragging this backpack of emotions around. So I say all that to encourage, just to let you know that I've really struggled with the upside of hiding my emotions, because it works. It works pretty darn well. But the feeling of not carrying those bricks around is so much better. It's so much better. It feels great. And so I say that as an encouragement. If you want a copy of this feeling wheel, just private message me and I'll send you a PDF of it, because it's been really useful to me. So I hope you have a blessed day.